That was Cooperangus fiddler Jimmy Dawson, playing us into the first episode of Stories from Strathmore with me, Jimmy Black. Strathmore is a big fertile valley where towns like Blairgowrie, Kirriemuir, Cooperangus and Forfar lie. In the next 12 weeks, I'll be dipping into the lives of some of the people who have lived in Strathmore over the past 900 years, from the wealthy monks of Cooperangus Abbey to the farming folk and factory workers of today. Tonight's programme is all about diddling, and if you don't know what that is, have a listen to this. Until about 20 years ago, diddling competitions were common in Strathmore. What happened at these strange events? Here to tell us is Rab McFarlane, who attended his first diddling session 53 years ago and has compared more than he can remember.
There's various items. There was lie telling, diddling, which is an old form of mouth music, comic singing, accordion, fiddle playing, mouth organ, whistling, and finally it was treacle scone eating or lemonade drinking.
Now, did you get good audiences for these things?
Oh yes, quite good audiences, yes. Mm-hmm.
What kind of people came along to these events?
Mostly country people, farm workers and like that.
Where did you have them?
Fowles, Teeling, Wellbank, Maniki, Kettins and Burleton.
Were there prizes?
Oh yes. Well, it's mostly money prizes, but the chap with the most points got a cup at the finish.
As Rab said, there was more to diddling competitions than just diddling. Here's Nomi Howie of Burleton, himself a champion diddler, with one of his favourite comic songs.
Oh, I shan't forget the day that I was born. It was on the cold and frosty winter's morn. All the doctors said I was a chubby chap. And when the nurse she took me on her lap, oh, she washed me all over, I remember. And after powder buffing me, you see, she laid me in a cradle near a fender, in a little shirt my mother made for me. Oh, the first day that I to school must go, I didn't like the teacher, you must know, because I played the truant once so dear. So the master shouted, Muggins, you come here. And his stick he came down all upon me. There's no mistake about my pedigree. I'd the map of England printed nicely on me, 'neath the little shirt me mother made for me.
Back to Rab McFarlane for more detail about the other peculiar activities which went on at diddling nights.
You got this scone on a, was that with the size of a tea plate? And the scone was the same size. And you put treacle all over the scone, right round the edges. And you'd stand there with your hands behind your back, and whoever was first finished got it. But there's some terrible messes. And then the lemonade drinking, a big bottle of lemonade, and you just, on the word go, took off the top, and of course it, and who was first finished? That jock motion, he could go down in a winner, a whole big bottle.
Wonder what that did to his insides.
Yeah, well, you heard about that later.
We've already heard a song from Nomi Howie, but his speciality was diddling proper. Rab tells us exactly how Nomi, short for Norman, went about entertaining his audience.
Mr. Howie had the, well, when he was up diddling, he had this little doll and a wee potty on his knee, so he was diddling away, and he would start taking off the nappy. Of course, he had the nappy spread with that spreading chocolate. Of course, everybody, when they saw the chocolate, oh! Of course, he just rolled up the handkerchief and wiped his face with it and put it in his pocket. And laughs, of course. And then he would set it on the potty, and he had one of those cartons full of water. He just squeezed it and it squirt out to all the kids in the front row. And that caused a great laugh, of course, and kept diddling all the time.
Well, it's time for Nomi himself to show us how diddling ought to be done. Nomi Howie, you were a champion diddler at quite a number of these
I was.
competitions. Now, when did you start diddling?
About 6-year-old.
What made you a good diddler? How did they judge diddling competitions?
Well, there was 3 judges, and all marked down the best one which they thought. They all handed in their marks, and whoever had the most points got the first.
What did you get points for?
That was for the actual diddling. There's a lot of people do dums in it, but there's not dums and diddling. An odd one just.
No, not dums.
No, dumb diddle.
Oh,
It's
gee.
diddle, not dumb. Another thing was a lot of pipers went up, but they diddled the pipe way. Three-hee, three-ha, three-ho. Well, I mean, that's not diddling.
No,
Diddling is diddle.
not the same thing at all.
No. Just turn-hee, turn-hee-ha. I mean, that's not diddling.
Oh.
And I've saw them getting first prize for it.
Outrageous.
Outrageous. I don't know how, but you see.
Now, diddling, you used it to celebrate a fairly notable occasion.
Well, I've been with Marshall for 25 years past June. So I was invited down to Newbridge to pick up a 25 years service watch. So as I landed, the boss took me into his room and he says, by the by, Norman, he says, they tell me you're a bit of a diddler. I said, yes. Oh, he says, we must hear a wee bit of this. So he says, come on now, he says, let's have a go. Of course, I started to diddle. So he had me diddling twice. So he thought it was fantastic. So of course, when I picked up the paper a week later, there it was, Mr. Howie receives his 25 years service watch. He diddled Mr. Marshall.
Diddling is an ancient art, and not something to be taken lightly. As a novice diddler myself, I thought I'd grab the chance to get some comments on my own performance from the master.
Diddle doodle diddle diddle doodle diddle diddle do diddle diddle doodle diddle diddle doodle diddle diddle doodle doodle diddle diddle doodle diddle doodle diddle doodle diddle. How am I doing?
Well, that's diddle doodle diddle doodle.
No, that's band, is it?
Yes, right.
We'll try a different one. So, diddle 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 dee dum dum diddle 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 dee dum dum diddle 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 dee dum dum diddle die diddle do diddle dum dum dum. Promising?
That was 9 dums you had.
9 dums.
Aye.
Oh, I think I'll just give this up.
That's all from Stories from Strathmore for tonight. Next week we'll have some grisly tales of life in a Strathmore undertaker's in the 1920s. Meantime, I'm off to practice my diddling. Cheerio!